Hey, it's Tim here. In 23.3, you can set the start row or the header for CSV or text files inside of Tableau Prep. This is such a great quality of life improvement. It's been on the waiting list for some time. To find out how this works, as ever, let's get stuck in. Okay, so here I have a CSV file. I've opened it up in Excel. That can sometimes confuse people, but it's a CSV file in Excel. And you can see there that I've just gone and added some rows to the very top of the file, just 1, 2, 3 rows essentially that we're going to use. And my data actually starts on row 4. So that's all you need to know about this file. It's a pretty standard sort of file that you'd get from the internet. So I'm not going to go into the context of the data because it doesn't really matter for this. So let's go over to Tableau Prep because I actually think there's quite a few nice things about the way this has been implemented. I will come back to a few things that aren't so nice, but anyway, let's go ahead. Let me go to my start folder here, and on my desktop, I'm just going to drag in a file into Tableau Prep. You can see I've got it right here. I'm just going to go ahead and drop it in, and there we go. We've dropped it in, and what it does immediately is it loads up the input step, and you can see a couple of things. Let me annotate these for you. So we can see that we get a preview of the columns, and you can immediately see that it's calling the columns F1, F2, whatever. The reason it says first row is because that's obviously the top of my data set. If you recall, that was the very first column in my data set. Then you've got F2 and F3 for all the other columns that don't have a header. So this is all based on this information, which is obviously new in this particular release. Before, Tableau Prep actually used to use this information from the very first row. And it was kind of a pain because you had to do some work around with pivots and all that jazz. But here we are. You can set the header row and you can set the start row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first change the start row just to show you this, because I think they've done something really nice here. So as I change the start row, you'll see nothing changes because that's really not where the information is. But what I want you to do is pay attention to this area here and see what happens as I toggle the header rows. Okay, so if we go forward 1, you can see that the columns change, and you can see it just changes this title here. And this is nice because you're getting real-time feedback as you're doing this. It's so nice that I actually, when I did this, I was like, oh, this is nice. I'm not used to seeing this in something like Alteryx. With Alteryx, you normally have to run the data first to get the input, but this is constantly running the data through for you. There is no run button to hit. And so you can see here on row 3, we're at the header row, but it's still not working. So let's go ahead and hit it to row 4. And did you see that? It not only did it get the right columns, but again, I'm going to go back one and just get you to pay attention to what happened here. It's a very small thing, easy to miss, but I just think it's so nice that they've done this. If I set the header row to the same as the data start row, it shifts the data start row 1. So they didn't just leave it there to kind of crash on you. Look at this. If I hit that one more time, it increments the next one and that changes as well. So just some really nice little finesses there that just make this so enjoyable. I don't know, maybe I'm a nerd and this kind of stuff excites me, but nonetheless, I think that's nice to see. The rest of it is pretty straightforward. You know how to work with CSV files in Tableau Prep. If you don't, check out my Tableau Prep crash course. You can find that on YouTube or in a playlist as well. So the rest of it just works as you would expect. The other thing to remember here is that we've got the source row number specifically for CSV and text files. Some of you are going to ask, hey, can I do this with Excel? You cannot do this with Excel. I don't know why, but I do know this. Whenever you work with Excel files, it's always just not as easy to get stuff out of it as you'd think. And I think it might be to do with the way that Excel works with something called the jet engine in the background. But I don't understand enough about how Tableau Prep is built for why that would cause a problem. Because I know in something like Alteryx, you can actually change the header and start row and play around with that as well. So that would be a nice feature to come. Maybe it's coming in a future release and there's still some bugs they're still ironing out, but that's pretty much it. You can do this with CSV and text files. So again, great quality of life improvement. It's so good to see this in Tableau Prep. I just think of all the flows in the past that I've had this issue, and now I'm going to be going back to Tableau Prep. And the next big challenge I have with Tableau Prep, it's going to be such a joy to use, because also in this release, there's been some enhancements to other features, specifically multi-row calculations, as well as a couple of others. I've already covered them in my playlist. Go ahead and check that out. But as ever, I'll catch you in the next video.